Bien le bonjour everyone and welcome back to a new event guide video. Today, Ceroli Crisis. Um, if you've played it already, or if you watched the thumbnail well enough, well, you know what's the issue with that event. I love that event, but God forbid, humans, guys, humans, humans are an issue because some humans are unable to read, legit, unable to read those simple skills. So that's the first point. Read. Reading will help you a lot. Uh, Here we are. Always with the legend skills because they will change how you play it a lot. Those ones are pretty meaningless and not very important. A bit annoying, but they won't change your skill order, for instance. So, nice transition. The roles. Well, support is useless. This is the best setup. I won't bother much if you really want to play support. Start the fight, use Blood Drinker. When you have enough energy bar, use the big heal. Be careful, there is one legend skill that will hurt your team if you're using the healing. And I already lost a game due to that. Seriously, yes, it happens. And by the time you get enough energy again, you can cast Blood Drinker again. But by that time, most bosses should be dead. If it's not the case, well, I think your team is gonna fail anyway. So just don't pick support. For most bosses, you want one tank on 4 DPS. The only exception that come to my mind right now is Ak and Hawk, the two twins. Oh, on one other, I forgot. The big shaman, woman shaman that summoned five guardian. I forgot her name. For that one, you want 5 tanks with max healing. But for most bosses, you want a tank on 4 DPS. As for the skill setup for the tank, usually you want the taunt on that specific debuff that is very very strong. For some bosses, you might want to pick the AoE taunt, and if you pick the AoE taunt, you can take the high morale. For that shaman boss that I forgot the name, oh, I think it's Arlesia, yeah, Arlesia, I think. For that very specific boss, you do not want a taunt, you want maximum healing, so you pick that setup. And everyone fight for himself. But again, let's go back to the regular skills. Alright. And you cast taunt if you need to. If you have good teams, they will let you take the aggro, and you do not need to waste energy bar on the taunts. And you can simply stack Shattered Armor to the maximum and just simply one-shot the boss. For DPS, the best damaging setup is that one. You want to cast Potential Unleashed first because it grants attack, and then all damage. And when you are 10 stack of the 15 maximum, you want to cast World Class Attack because it will increase your all damage. And the all damage is increased by the attack stacks that you get. All damage and all damage stack additively, so that's not the reason why you do it. You do it because of the attack bonus here. You will get more all damage if you get more attack, to simplify things a bit. You should not need to heal if you have a good team and everyone does the mechanics well, but you can just pick it if you really need to. But you will be very limited with energy bar. You will last just enough to cast those skills on cooldown. They share the same cooldown, by the way, so you cast the first one. Look, they have the same cooldown. So once you did the rotation well for the first one, you just have to click on cooldown and you're good to go. Now let's be more specific with that specific rotation. Back to the wall is mostly useless. A bit annoying for Tony, because for Tony, well, you have to kill the Lohar pretty fast. It's a bit luck based, but worst case you will take one AoE. So you could consider picking one healer for that one if you're a bit scared of it. That's one of the cases where I can understand picking the heal, picking a support. Treasonous Whisper is inconsequential. You just have to be careful of your surroundings. Again, for Tony, it's a bit annoying because you have to stack in the bubble. You will usually take some damage. If people place well, you will take only 1 instances of damage instead of 5, instead of 4. But yeah, again, for Tony on those skills, I can understand picking the support. But if you do, Keep your energy, cast Dazzling Light at the 75% low art. Again, Dazzling Light at the 75%, at 50% lower, and keep your Blood Drinker for the 25%, because at 25% he starts to be so damaging you want to burst him down very quickly. So Blood Drinker is best used at 25% for Tony. For the other bosses, well, Frida is mostly useless. She's one of the bosses where, as I said, you could swap your skills around and pick the AoE taunt if you think your team is not very good. But with a good team, most all Loars will be dead before she even casts her super AoE. Wafura is very straightforward. I'm not gonna disrespect you by explaining you Wafura is useless. Is the worst design boss and one of the most easy ones. Manamara is pretty new. She's interesting from a design point of view, but she's failed. You do not need to interact with her mechanic. The mechanic is, well, she have 3 type of potions that small minions will bring to her if she gets them. Well, she is buffed a lot, and that's it. She has big minions that you're supposed to be killing with the same potion that of the small ones, but just ignore them. Ignore the big minions, just kill the small ones, and by the way, sometimes they will just die to AoE. If you're running Zhuge you will kill the small minions with just your plain AoE, so you don't even need to bother. Just burst her down. The big minions are inconsequential, they did no damage at all. That boss was a good idea, but poorly executed. And Astrid is one I will showcase today because she's a bit specific. And as usual, do not listen to the recommended lineup. Even for that boss, only one tank is enough, and I will show you how and why. I think for the other bosses, no one can really stand out and be a super carry. Maybe for Frida if you want to take on all the low art. But for Astrid, you can be a one-man carry if you play tank and you do the little trick I'm about to do. I will explain Astrid quickly. I will do that because I don't want to be batched again with a healer, especially one that picks such terrible skills, but who cares? She has 2 stances, her regular stance and her damaging stance. In her normal stance, nothing specific. There's one little mechanic, but most people will ignore it, and you can't force the mechanics to be succeed, so just bite the bullet. And she has her damage, her super stance, or yeah, her rage test, I don't know what you want to call it, where she will start debuffing you and then murder you. So you want to run away, or as the game is intended, to swap aggro, but I won't do that because it's not efficient. So I don't not wait for my friends to be set up because as a tank I want to pick the aggro first. If I pick aggro first, I'm not wasting energy bars on the taunt. So here I have 2 people that seems to be unable to play well. Alright, the only mechanic of the boss is when you have that red cross, that red arrow, you have to run away, otherwise she will do an AoE attack and she will swap aggro, so I wasted some energy bar, but that's no big deal. So my bad, because I'm talking, I'm not focused, and I forgot to refresh Shatter Armor. So that's no big deal. Alright, they are completely lost. But that's not an issue. Alright, I will help them a bit because they seem to be struggling. Alright, finally. Alright, she's entering the stance, so I'm gonna run around that corner to make sure I do not die. Those guys seems to be unaware that they can just DPS her. Just DPS, please. Just DPS her. Alright, he's completely lost, but that's no issue. Those 3 at least are DPSing. And if I run far enough, look what will start to happen. She will update her passing and start to walk the other way. So I swap, and I swap again. And what I want to do is to make her do left, right, left, right, left, right, and basically be immobile so that my DPS can just, free cast like this. So it's a bit annoying because with the Treacherous Whisper, they will hurt each other, but she takes increased damage in that stance, so it's actually fine. For every other instances, it's just free, yeah, a free boss if you do that. So you just do left and right, and you're fine. Again, you can pick a healer for that very specific encounter. Well, just heal to fix that. Sadly, yeah, that team is not very good, but it's not an issue. Alright, I'm trying to push her a bit. Oh, I failed. I wanted to push her away. Alright, now there are room to stay apart from each other. So during a shield, do not bother attacking. You're taking increased damage, so just walk for 5 seconds and then resume attacking. Alright, she's stuck at 2. At 3 seconds I will recast the debuff. Because the cooldown is only 20 seconds, but the duration... Oh, I didn't notice. As I said, I'm talking, I'm not very focused. So she did the circle AoE with the red arrow, so... And because I have to taunt, I will actually have less energy to cycle the Shatter Armor. But yeah, you see, with 3 stacks of Shatter Armor, she just melts. Yeah, I couldn't refresh because when she's swapping stance, she's immune to debuffs. Alright, I should have started. Oh, my bad. Alright, I need to run faster. I did a mistake. Usually the boss just dies during the first swap. On my first attempt, she died while she was in blue form. That's how a good team can perform. Alright, she's perfectly placed right now. And just like that, we win. So obviously, because you're not doing damage, you will never be well ranked, but clearly I out-carry that team by doing that. And you too, carry your team. Sadly, for all the others, there are no real way to solo carry that fight. I already said, but with Frida, maybe if you think you're gonna get a bad team, just pick tank and pick the AoE taunt. You will be good to go. Alright, if you want me to do other quicker guides for every Ceroli Crisis iteration, because there are other bosses, there are other legend skills, if you want me to do a video to give recommendations on advices, well, make sure to drop a comment and I will do it. Alright, thank you for watching and good luck with your teammates.